All right, so we're going to be discussing drawing the human head. Um, First of all, let me open up this very useful book on drawing portraits. This is Drawing Portraits, Faces and Figures by Giovanni Savardi. I'm just going to go through a few basic directions from this book. First off, most people mess up and draw the eyes up here. Okay, the reason why they're doing that is because they're thinking of the eyes as being at the top of the face, which they are, but they're not at the top of the head. They're halfway down. They're in the middle. So if you accidentally mess up and you draw the eyes way up in the forehead, that is a mess up and you have to fix it. So just try and draw the eyes in the middle. If the head looks like it's got too much of an egg head, go down into the head and start the hairline a little farther down into the head. Most people mess up and they start the hair up here and pile it up high. Don't do that. So that's one thing about the human proportions of the human head. The other thing is a lot of people really mess up badly on the profile view. They don't know how to draw the head so that the nose is sticking out the side, and also you guys should note that, let me see if I can make this larger. Yes, okay. The eyes, look at the shape of the eyes. It's kind of like a greater than sign or a sideways V shape when the eye is sideways. Most people mess up and draw the eye like this, even in the side view. That is incorrect. So you draw the eye kind of like a sideways V shape. When it's the side view, you make the nose sticking out the side of the head, and you draw the eyes halfway down the head, halfway between the top of the head and the chin. So, yes, the eyes are near the top of the face, but you're ignoring all this part of the head. And look how much higher the hair comes up than the top of the skull. So drawing the eyes halfway down would be correct, and changing the shape of the eye. The other thing is, look at the ears. So this is how the ear looks like from a side view, but this is how it looks like from a front view. Look at the nose. It's kind of like this L shape from the side view, but from the front view, it's kind of like a U shape in the middle and parentheses on the side for the nostrils. The other thing that most people do also is they overemphasize the nostrils, which makes the person look like they've got a pig snout. Try and de-emphasize the nostrils. Generally, unless you're underneath somebody looking up, you're not going to see right up their nose. So that's the basics. I will be giving you a copy of this book. You can look at it, but those are the basics of human proportion. Now going to go to Photoshop, and I'm just going to show you, you see these human skulls, and this is a turnaround of a person's skull. I'm now going to open up this file, and this is a male head turnaround. So this is going to be in Google Classroom as well, and you can see that the eyes are halfway down. And I also have, what I'll have for you as a resource is a female head turnaround template. So you can see how the female head, now these are just very, very generic faces. But you're going to be practicing drawing heads. You can be practicing drawing portraits. You can look at a picture of yourself. You can look at a picture. You can look at each other. You can use a mirror. You can use photographs. You can practice on paper. You can practice digitally. But the ultimate goal is that you're going to be creating a turnaround of a person's head, and then we're going to be animating it. Going back to the book, these are obviously pretty hyper-realistic characters, but the one thing that I want you to know from looking through this book is that the characters that this person is creating, even though he's drawing portraits probably by looking at people, is that he's using a lot of solid drawing. He's not just drawing flat shapes. So he's not drawing like this, he's drawing like this. So when he creates the guidelines, he's thinking about the head as a sphere. He's thinking about the construction of a three-dimensional head in these flat planes, and how the nose bumps out from the head, and that it's not a flat thing. And that knowledge of three-dimensional form is carrying through into his artwork and creating more convincing images. Is you would add a new layer. So I'm just going to do layer new, layer to the top, and you would add a new layer to the bottom, layer new, layer. And you just have to drag that new layer down to the bottom. So you take this bottom layer and you're going to do edit fill, and you're going to fill it with white. You take the middle layer and you're going to change the opacity. You're going to gray it out to about 30%, so you can just barely see it. And then you're going to lock this layer and lock this layer, and you're going to do all your drawing in the top layer. All right, so now I'm in the top layer. I'm going to unlock the bottom layer, and I'm just going to move it so that this skull is in the middle. And then I'm going to go up to the top layer, and I'm just going to create a very quick original character. So is that I'm overlapping the character, the skull next to me. And that's fine, because what I'm going to now do is I'm going to add another layer. So I'm going to do layer, new, layer. And then in my new layer, I can just take this and I'm going to go back to layer 1, and I'm going to move this so that I can see the second skull. And now I'm going to go way up to layer 4, which is my new layer. And I'm now going to draw my next character. Same character. It's absolutely imperative that every time you add a new head, you add a new layer. Now, I need to do this third one, but you can see it's off the edge of the page. No worries. I'm going to zoom out just a little. And I'm going to go back to this layer, and I'm just going to use the move tool and move the third one over here. And then go, make sure you go way up tip top to that new layer you just created. And now I'm going to do the third person. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to again need to zoom in so that I can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to keep the other two characters in my sights so that I can make sure that I maintain the integrity of my character and that he looks like the same guy. No worries. I can always just keep adding layers. So layer 5, and now I need to do the next one, which is this one. So I need to then add another layer. Every time you add a new face, you have to add a new layer. Okay, so I'll do this guy. And I think I'm going to go back to layer 1 and just move him slightly to give myself more room. I'm accidentally messing up and drawing in this other layer, and I can tell that because it's looking light gray. So I have to go up to layer 6. That's the other advantage to changing the opacity. You always know when you're messing up by accidentally drawing in the template layer. This is where I have room, so I'm just going to take the move tool. I'll move it over here. And now I have to add a new layer to the top. So let me click into the top layer. It's very important that the layers are all in the right order. Layer, new, layer, otherwise it can get very confusing. So notice that all the layers are in the correct order, except this one, the background layer, it's called layer 2. It really should be called background. So I'm going to change it to background. I can't change it because it's locked. I'll change it to background. Okay. And this one is the template layer, so it shouldn't be called layer 1. It should be called template. Okay. So this one should really be layer 1. This one should be layer 2. This one should be layer 3. If you controlling the workflow and making sure that you actually have everything in the correct order as you're working is very important. So this is layer 5. All right. So right now there's nothing in layer 5. So let's fix that. Once I'm done drawing in layer 5, I'm going to take all the layers and I'm going to put them into a stack. I'm going to delete the template layer, but my head doesn't make it all the way around in a complete rotation. In order for that to happen, I'm going to have to duplicate some of the earlier layers and then flip them horizontally. Here, I'll show you. This is the second one. This is the third one. This is the fourth one. This is the fifth one. Now, what I want is to take this one and I want to duplicate that. So let me try that again. Layer, you got to think about this logically. Duplicate layer. I want to call it layer 6. Okay. Now I want to do edit, transform, flip horizontal. And I'm going to bring it way up to the top. Okay. So now I want to take layer 3. I'm going to click into layer 3. I'm going to do layer, duplicate layer, and I'm going to call it layer 7. Okay, and I'm going to do edit, transform, flip horizontal, and I'm going to bring it way up to the top. And now it's facing the other direction. Okay. Now I'm going to take layer 3. No, not layer 3. Layer 2, which is the 3/4 way turn. And I'm going to do layer, duplicate layer, and I'm going to do layer, flip horizontal, edit, transform, flip horizontal. I'm going to bring it way up to the top, and I'm going to rename it layer 8. Okay. So theoretically, I now have a complete turnaround if I didn't confuse myself. So starting here, then here, then here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and then theoretically it would go back to here. Okay, so let's see. So now I'm going to take this template and I'm going to delete it because I don't need it anymore. Okay, yes. And now I'm going to do create frame animation, and then I'm going to go over here and make frames from layers. Now I'm going to click on the first and the last frame, and I'm going to change the timing to 0.1 second. And I'm going to make sure that in all these frames from 2 to 9, that the background is showing. So I selected all the frames and then unhid the background. The first frame is just white, so I don't need that. I'm going to delete the first frame. So now I should have 8 frames. The first frame will show the first layer plus the background. The last frame will show the last layer plus the background. So theoretically, I should have a turnaround. So let's see what it looks like. And as you can see, my head is turning around. I'm noticing that the figures are a little bit inconsistent because in some pictures the chin is a little bit too pointy. So if I had more time, I would go back and into the layers and fix that.